welcome back to Omoshiroi Recap. Today, I will recap Witchcraft Works. The story begins with a student named Takamiya Honoka. He is happy with his peaceful life. A popular girl named Kagari Ayaka is also riding the same bus as him. She is the principal's daughter. The students call her Princess. The female students were so excited when they met her. During class, Takamiya is sitting next to Kagari when he accidentally drops his eraser, and Kagari, seeing that, immediately returns it to him. Kagari's fans were furious with him, and he was beaten up in the back of the school.
あんたさ、生意気なんだよね。わざとかな。オバマくん、やっちゃって。
Just as Takamiya is about to take out the trash, a stuffed bunny appears in the trash can with a sign saying the school building might fall on a sunny day.
なんで？直撃コースじゃないか。僕死ぬのか。そんなの。やだ。
Takamiya is saved by a beautiful girl who turns out to be Kagari. She explains everything to Takamiya, that she is a witch and will protect Takamiya from evil witches. An evil witch intends to target Takamiya, resulting in a fight between Kagari and the rabbit doll. Kagari, with full power, tries to protect Takamiya from getting hurt. Feeling a loss of pride from being protected by a girl, Takamiya wants to show his manly side, but he falls and faints. Meanwhile, Kagari gets annoyed and turns all the dolls into dust. After that, Takamiya regained consciousness in Kagari's secret place. She explained that her job was to protect Takamiya because Takamiya was considered her master. The next day, Kagari wants to always be beside Takamiya. The students felt annoyed when they saw that, so Takamiya received all the insults from the students at school. The previous students attacked Takamiya again and asked for an explanation as to why he was close to Kagari. Meanwhile, Kagari immediately protects him and warns them not to commit violence against Takamiya.
こうなる姫様となんでお前みたいなカスが一緒にいたの？ねえ、なんでかな？もし高宮君に危害を加える相手がいたら、そいつ燃やすから。
Takamiya inspects the scene beforehand, finding no traces of damage at all. Then the witch explained that the previous attack was illusion magic. Her name is Tanpopo, a tower witch. Since Kagari is also there, Tanpopo summons an army of rabbit dolls to defeat her. Even though Kagari was seriously injured, Takamiya survived without getting hurt. Kagari explains that she is made of fire so that attack cannot kill her. Then she asked Takamiya to close his eyes because Kagari wanted to use her power to end the battle. Feeling unable to win, Tanpopo decides to run away from there. After that, the damage caused by the previous battle returned to normal, but Tanpopo and her friends became transfer students the next day and would be in the same class as Takamiya. Takamiya heads to school alone without Kagari beside him. It turns out that Kagari is giving punishment to Tanpopo and her colleagues, but one of them managed to escape. Takamiya asked the reason why they attacked ordinary students like Takamiya. It turned out that they were after the white object inside Takamiya's body. Of course, that made Takamiya misunderstand.
お前の体が目当てなだけでな。お前の中の白いあれだよ。
白いあれ。白いあれ。
Then comes Mei, who manages to free her friends and even takes Takamiya to run away from there. However, Kagari's power is stronger than theirs. Mei's pet caught fire as it bit Takamiya's neck, so they saw the wound received by Takamiya move to Kagari's body. After that, they decided to retreat, while Takamiya regained consciousness at Kagari's secret place. Then she explains that they must exterminate the mastermind behind the tower's witch to restore normal life to Takamiya. On the other hand, the high-ranked workshop witch, named Kazane, met a tower witch named Kronwar. They were discussing the whereabouts of Takamiya, who could trigger a great war in the future. Then Takamiya and Kagari go out together on the day off. Kagari explains about the workshop witch and the tower witch. It turns out that the workshop witch built the town and mingled with the residents while protecting them. At the same time, the tower's witch uses magic at will and brings chaos across the world. While at the mall, there was a tower witch who attacked them, so that the battle between Kagari against the witch. Even though they are battered, they are still determined to continue attacking Takamiya later. Takamiya wants to become stronger so he can fight back when attacked. Kagari will also teach him how to fight along with magic, so he can win when fighting a witch. Before that, Takamiya met the headmaster or Kagari's mother, Kazane. Knowing that Takamiya wants to master magic, she welcomes Takamiya as a workshop witch. The next day, Kagari wants to show how to use magic to defeat the enemy, but Takamiya still doesn't understand because Kagari easily defeats her enemy. While at school, Kagari was always concerned about Takamiya. Without even realizing it, they were making out in front of other students. Students who are jealous of Takamiya send hate mail and insult Takamiya every time.
早速わからんし
ここはね
甘い香り
死ねばいいのに
They suddenly met Kronwar on the bus when they came home from school. She has strong power. She can immobilize Kagari so she can't move. Kronwar tries to attack Kagari with killing intent. Unfortunately, the attack doesn't work. However, when Kronwar stabs Takamiya's body, it turns out that the wound that Takamiya received has moved to Kagari's body. Kronwar explains that it's a damage transfer. She confirms that Kagari has made a contract with Takamiya. Takamiya has such great power within him that Kagari can borrow that power and become an unbeatable witch. Instead, Kagari must serve and protect Takamiya. Kronwar orders Takamiya to ingest a medicine that can release its true power and heal the seriously injured Kagari. This made Kronwar so badly injured that she decided to withdraw from there. Before leaving, she conveyed a message to meet again at Walpurgis night. After that, Kagari fainted because she had used her strength excessively. Not only that, Takamiya received a candy that could release its original power, but Takamiya decided not to use it and kept the candy. A few days later, Kagari teaches Takamiya about witch transformation. With the robes, they can increase their strength. Even their existence becomes invisible to ordinary humans. On the other hand, someone powerful and dangerous is detained by special forces. Her name is Medusa. She could suddenly destroy the barriers that bound her so she could escape from the place. Tanpopo and the others discuss a plan to beat Kagari, and then Rin suggests catching Takamiya when he's alone, and there's no need to fight Kagari. But the problem is that Takamiya is always near Kagari. Then Kronwar meets them, and she will help their plan. The next day, Takamiya woke up, and his younger sister, Kasumi, helped tidy his hair. Since Takamiya is always with Kagari, Kasumi is always asked by other students, and because of that, Kasumi tries to confirm the truth about Takamiya's relationship with Kagari.
もしかして電話の相手って姫
何を言ってんのかたまたま日直が一緒で全部たまたまなんだよ偶然
Then Takamiya was in a hurry because he was late for school, and suddenly Tanpopo met him there. Meanwhile, in another place, Kagari fights Tanpopo's partner. They already know Kagari's weakness from Kronwar. By separating Takamiya from Kagari, she can't borrow Takamiya's unlimited magic power, so they have a chance to beat her. When Takamiya is in danger, a giant doll suddenly appears, which destroys Tanpopo's army of rabbits. It turns out that the doll's owner is Kasumi, a workshop witch. Kasumi and Tanpopo fight each other with their respective dolls in the middle of the city. Even though Kasumi managed to beat Tanpopo, Rin came to help Tanpopo. Finding it difficult to fight the two of them, Kasumi used her full strength to turn her doll into a bigger one. She immediately stepped on them with all her might and destroyed the city.
お兄ちゃんの住む町を守るっていうあるからいいよ
先ほどの駅前の大爆発で周辺の建物に多くの被害が出ています。傷一つないという秘密の現象に
The principal, enjoying her peaceful day, was suddenly disturbed by the news about the city's destruction, but there were no casualties in the battle. Meanwhile, Kagari managed to easily beat partner from Tanpopo, because they are no match for Kagari, while Kasumi and Kagari fight each other over Takamiya. Takamiya's mother explains that Takamiya is engaged to Kagari. In the past, their parents were close friends and wanted to marry together, but it cannot be done because they are fellow women. In the end, they decided to marry off their children only. That's why his mother allowed Kagari to live with Takamiya.
彩香さん、どうぞうちのほのかくんをよろしくお願いします。
何してんのさ母さん
かがり彩香さんはあなたの許嫁よ。
while Kasumi became angry after learning this and tried to cancel the engagement.
全部妹の権利じゃん。
この子手遅れだわ。ママがかすみちゃんを抑えてるから、その間に荷造りして出て行きなさい。
Then Takamiya was taken to Kagari's house. Her house was so luxurious that there were dozens of servants there. However, when they arrived at Kagari's room on the top floor, they met Medusa instead. Kagari asks Takamiya to go to the 12th floor while she fights Medusa alone. Without further ado, Kagari used her full strength against her. However, Kagari was easily defeated by Medusa, and even her body turned to stone. Seeing that, Takamiya decided to eat a candy that could release his full power.
いいわ。その思い聞き届けてあげる。白姫エヴァーミリオ。
After eating the candy came White Princess Evermillion, who would fight Medusa. Their fight creates a massive explosion that destroys Kagari's house.
これを見ると一日の疲れも吹き飛んでしまうというもの。メデューサ貴様だな。魔女狩りの時間だよ。
Before Evermillion disappeared, she said that Takamiya had to kiss Kagari to be free from petrification. Takamiya soon did just that, so Kagari recovered and gained unlimited power to fight Medusa.
安心なさい。私たちの勝ちよ。
In the end, Medusa was defeated, and then they made a peace treaty together. Medusa promises not to attack them as long as Kagari hides her whereabouts from other witches. The next day, Kasumi is surprised to see Kagari trying to take off Takamiya's clothes. Kasumi was furious with her even though she wanted to make out with her older brother. On the other hand, the student council president orders a teacher named Mikagi to separate Kagari from Takamiya. Otherwise, he will be fired. Mikagi tries to talk to both of them in his research lab. Feeling unable to separate the relationship between them, Mikagi takes Takamiya to another place.
彼を借りるぜ。
しまった。高宮君。
It turns out that Mikagi is a witch. He explained the 5 seals in Takamiya's body, and 1 seal had been released because he had eaten candy before. The 5 seals function to seal Evermillion within Takamiya's body. Mikagi warns him to keep the broken seal secret. Otherwise, the headmaster will target Takamiya. The headmaster is ordered by headquarters to keep an eye on Takamiya. She has great magic power and can completely seal Takamiya. After that came to Kagari, who managed to destroy the place, but Mikagi managed to escape. Knowing that Mikagi was asked by the student council president to separate them, Kagari uses her authority as the school's princess to fire the student council.
現生徒会長はクビよ。新生徒会長はこちらの高宮ほのか君。
Making Takamiya the new student council president. With that, no one will bother Takamiya anymore because his position is higher than ordinary students. While Kasumi is very angry, she plans to kidnap Takamiya from Kagari. Even though she was hit by a powerful sleeping anesthetic, Kagari could still get back up and even immediately chased Kasumi using a dragon. The successive attacks from Kagari caught Kasumi off guard, and she crashed into a building instead. Luckily, they were still alive even though they had fallen from a height. After the fight ended, Kagari immediately brought them back home. Takamiya's mother, Kasumi, and the principal went somewhere, while Takamiya was alone with Kagari like a newly married couple.
イチャイチャしやがった。あの二人、もはや夫婦って感じだよね。
Medusa and the Tanpopo group are hiding in the house. Kagari asks them to stay there so the headmaster won't find out. Medusa's main goal is to catch Takamiya, but hiding from the headmaster is the top priority, so she obeys Kagari's orders to stay in that room for a while. Because Tanpopo was bored, she intended to catch Takamiya at night. But Kagari is always beside Takamiya, so they can't kidnap him. The next day, when Takamiya wanted to go to the bathroom, he was surprised to see 2 beautiful girls taking a bath. The headmaster had also returned to the house, and seeing that Medusa's comrades were there, she intended to arrest them. Kagari quickly stops her mother so they can escape. Kagari realized that her power will not be able to defeat the headmaster, so she joins Medusa to fight her. She she can break free from the petrification and explains that joining Medusa has weakened Kagari. While Kagari is about to be hit by a justice punch, Takamiya uses its power to exchange places with Kagari. In the end, he was the one who was hit by a justice punch.
さあ歯を食いしばりなさい。正義の鉄拳を素直に受けるのです。
After that, they were both taken to the punishment room. Kagari also explains that if the headmaster gets information that Takamiya's seal has been broken, then Takamiya's peaceful life will end soon. Luckily, when she wanted to torture Medusa to get her information, Workshop Witch from Rothenburg suddenly wanted to take Medusa.
少しだけこのヘビ女を痛めつける時間を。
それが工場長の言うセリフですか？待って！
As a result, the headmaster still doesn't know about the broken Takamiya seal. Meanwhile, they made out together and drastically increased Kagari's power. They managed to escape from that place, and Kagari challenged the headmaster to fight. Knowing that Medusa had been brought by Workshop Witch from another town, they confirmed that the headmaster had not known about Takamiya's seal. In the end, they didn't fight and went home together. When Kagari was in junior high school, she was always with her two maids, Hiyotako and Hazuki Kani. Although at first Kagari doesn't seem very enthusiastic about living her life, she is attracted to someone and is always watching other middle school students to find someone she likes. By the time she went to grade 2 of junior high school, Kagari had finally found the figure she had been looking for all this time. It turns out he is Takamiya, but Takamiya is with another girl. This annoyed Kagari, and she intended to seize Takamiya so she could be beside him. Then Kasumi wanted to wake her beloved older brother to go to school together. Kagari, wearing a nurse's uniform, examined the seals on Takamiya's body.
お兄
いつ
ちゃん。
も通り。違うんだ。これはかがりさんが僕の体に問題がないか調べてただけで。
信じらんない。ああいうの二度と禁止よ。
After seeing that, Kasumi was very angry and always kept an eye on Kagari. Then suddenly, there was a rebellion at school. Tauko explains that the previous student council president slandered Takamiya to make him look evil.
私は散々もてあそばれ、捨てられ、生徒会長の座を奪われたの。
なんちゃって実は
ゲロの毛を全部むしり取って豚の餌にしてやりますよ。
Knowing that Takamiya had abused her best friend, a delinquent student named Rinon became so annoyed that she wanted to destroy Takamiya. After that, Takamiya is asked to meet Rinon at the gym, where they will fight each other. Takamiya begins to control his power to counter Rinon's attacks to corner her. But Takamiya doesn't have the heart to hit a woman. Ultimately, Kagari comes wearing a witch's robe and beats Rinon unconscious. The students were excited to see Takamiya manage to beat Rinon, and since then he has been considered the school's savior. Not only was the misunderstanding about the previous incident cleared up, but even the former student council president was already regretting her actions. Takamiya practices using his powers to be able to summon magic beasts, but when he is down, Takamiya instead creates a giant Kagari in a nurse's uniform. Mikagi confirmed that Takamiya's second seal had been broken during the previous fight with Rinon, but Takamiya fainted because he was too excessive in using his strength. Then Kagari remembered her dream, where she met Takamiya, who told her all the events in the future, and at the last moment she said that everything that Kagari had lost from her memory could be found at school. On the other hand, the principal meets a tower witch named Weekend, who turns out to have planted a powerful bomb in the middle of the city. The principal thinks that Weekend wants to negotiate to get Takamiya, but apparently she tried to destroy the city. Because the headmaster protected the townspeople from the explosion with her magic power, the headmaster ran out of magic energy. While there was a commotion in the city, Kagari and Takamiya rushed to meet the other workshop witches. But suddenly, they immediately attacked Takamiya and made Kagari faint. They did that to hide Takamiya in a safe place while they would be the ones fighting the tower witch later.
一つ念をしておきましょう。
抜け出しやがったらぶっ殺すぞタコが。
おっと、 淑女たるもの、乱暴な言葉遣いは控えるべきでしたね。
Kagari was sure the principal might have been defeated, but a doll suddenly approached them. Because Kagari destroyed the doll, their existence was known by Weekend. Then when they came out of there, their city had become a sea of fire. Even so, the headmaster's power managed to protect the townspeople. In exchange, the witches become temporarily unable to use magic. They could only wait for 1 week for the headmaster's powers to recover and return the city to normal. On the other hand, Weekend attaches a bomb to the workshop witch's body and takes them hostage. Weekend says she will free the hostages if Takamiya turns himself into them. Then Kasumi asked Tenpopo and the others to attack Weekend as a rental fee for eating and staying at her house. Meanwhile, Kagari and Takamiya were intercepted by Weekend's subordinates. Luckily, Kagari was able to beat them easily. It turns out that they are headed to the city's core so that Takamiya can perform a replacement contract and restore the entire city with great power in his body. Even though it only lasted for a while, it was enough for them to be able to use magic and attack Weekend.
返すよ。家賃分だからな。夏目、この感覚は魔法が全員助けますよ、夏目。はい。攻防の魔女を舐めるな。
Even though Weekend was successfully restrained by Rinnon, she used the bomb to break free. Knowing that Rinnon and the others are injured, Takamiya uses his powers to heal them.
そうだ、それがお前の持つ火のクラフトワークの力なのだ。
Takamiya becomes unconscious and dreams of getting lost in the Hall of Memories. He runs into Mikagi, who explains everything to Takamiya. Mikagi takes Takamiya to the heart of that world. The lives of the townspeople are like starlight in the sky. It turns out that the witches evacuated the residents there and will erase their memories when they return to the real world. On the other hand, Kasumi is fighting Tower Witch. Kasumi has difficulty avoiding her opponent's attacks because she protects Tenpopo's friends. Then came Medusa, who immediately turned the witch into stone. She asked her men to come with her because she had escaped prison and was chased by other witches. Meanwhile, Kagari decided to head to the Weekend location and left Takamiya in a safe place. There was a fierce battle between Kagari and Weekend, but Kagari couldn't use her full power because Takamiya was not beside her. Even though Kagari manages to seriously injure Weekend, Weekend can heal herself. On the other hand, the Tower Witch managed to infiltrate the Hall of Memories. Mikagi immediately sends Takamiya to the real world because the enemy is after him. After Takamiya knew Kagari was fighting Weekend in another place, he rushed there. When they got there, Kagari was seriously injured, but Takamiya's arrival made Kagari gain unlimited magic power so that she could fight again with full power. At the last moment, Weekend activated a bomb in the Hall of Memories, and the explosion killed many residents. Even Takamiya felt their death, so he tried to stop the explosion. Suddenly Takamiya becomes unconscious and meets with Evermillion. Evermillion is willing to save the residents and restore the city as it was as long as Takamiya sacrifices his life.
大きな願いには大きな代償が。君の命。
僕に力をくれ。
Knowing about the agreement between Takamiya and Evermillion, Kagari asks Evermillion to cancel the agreement between them so that Takamiya can live.
今あの時の約束を果たすわ。
After Weekend's plan had failed miserably and her strength had run out, she decided to retreat immediately before the workshop witches caught her. But Cronmore stopped her there.
選ばせてやろうと思ったんじゃがな。そうか。では遠慮せんぞ。やれやれ。つまらん勝負だったの。
Cronmore easily defeats Weekend and her subordinates. After that, Mikagi contacted Takamiya again. When Takamiya explained the previous incident made, Mikagi felt surprised, because Takamiya's life should not be replaced by anyone during the agreement. Then Mikagi gets an idea that might save Kagari. Mikagi explains that Kagari died by breaking her agreement with Takamiya, so Takamiya must return their agreement. Actually, Kagari has kept the power of Evermillion in her body. If the agreement is cancelled, then that power will return to Takamiya. That's why Takamiya restored the entire city without losing his life. They then prepare to start the ritual to make a new pact. Takamiya has to kiss her for the agreement to be made.
とっととやらんかぶっちゃベロベロって。
無理だよ。
そうだ、もう一回だ。
In the end, Kagari was able to regain consciousness, which made Takamiya feel relieved. A few days later, their lives were normal, and the anime witchcraft works ended. And that is the end of the video. Remember to subscribe and like this video, so see you in the next video.